Hello and welcome to the show. We started this week's FailRace episode with Nexon on GTA 5 causing plenty of chaos. Sometimes though, when you cause plenty of chaos, Karma decides to throw an exploded car at your face. It was a pretty damn good shot as well, I have to say. I don't know what exploded to cause that car to be launched, but well done. Not Nerd up next on GTA 5. Watch the pickup truck in the driveway that decides it wants to go to space and then land upside down, exploding and causing all sorts of chaos. What launched it in the air, I have no idea. Don't see that particularly often in GTA 5, but yeah, something upset the Bobcat, fired it into space, came back down on its roof, exploded. Very lucky the player didn't get exploded in that. Boy Slash up next on Horizon 4, doing a cross-country race when the aerial decides it should do a backflip. It actually does land it quite nicely, all things considered, but I still don't quite know why it started trying to flip. Lammy up next on Horizon 4, learning that McLarens are quite good for carrying Land Rovers around. Who would have thought it? Unfortunately, the great Land Rover car hat doesn't last too long when a tree gets in the way and it then promptly falls off the roof and rolls down the hill. Yeah, turns out McLarens are quite useful for scooping around Land Rovers. The Blue Evolution up next on Need for Speed Underground 2 is driving one of the drag races. AI car up ahead crashes, leaves the van stuck in the player's lane, and another AI car on the other side of the road crashes as well, and they're all pretty... Actually, I think there's a fourth AI car there that might have... I think they're all wrecked. I think all the cars are wrecked in that particular drag race from one AI car hitting a van. Alec up next on GT Sport with already a jelly-built car. However, the curb has other ideas. Yes. The jelly-built muscle car, when sideways on a curb, shall launch. Not quite a space launch, but quite a high launch. Normally it's the curbs that start the rolls. It's not normally the curbs that exacerbate the rolls, particularly. But there we go. Evil McSheep up next on Grid, racing a Skyline around Spa. Now, watch the distance as we head around this next corner, because something, well, another car gets flung very quickly at the wall and then is spinning and rolling so unbelievably fast, it's very difficult to see what's going on. Quite why it was heading at that direction towards the wall, I don't know. You can just see it in the distance there. It hits that wall incredibly fast, and you can just see it spiraling. It's spinning so fast, the frame rate can barely keep up. We're on to Grid 2 next with, well, not quite a launch off of a bit of scenery. No, this is a stop. Yes, that is a very vicious curb. I mean, that's stopped dead and tore most of the front off of the BMW. Don't argue with curbs. We're back to Spa with Mike on Project Cars 2, heading towards, well, we all know the very fast and very dangerous part of the circuit. It's a little too much speed with the Merc. Can't shrug it off as we go for a huge crash. However, the landing, that's the bit that gets the 10 out of 10 points there. Yes, the Sauber Mercedes is parked perfectly on top of the AI car, which AI vehicle is now happy to, let's say, drive off, but trying to drive off, and the player car cannot do anything. Yet the player car is not moving from on top of there. Zero the Wanderer up next on Agents of Mayhem. Now, on this game, apparently I've never played it personally, but there seems to be an ability that can call in a vehicle to you. Helpful for travelling around, I suspect. However, the vehicle is not always the cleverest. Yes, that knocked over 2 people, 3 cars, and there's 4 and 5 people with a truck that the car launched. I think these driverless cars have got a way to go yet. I think we have got a way to go yet. Starlight on Farming Simulator 2017, playing around with the truck that has a massive crane. It turns out if you stick the crane out, it unbalances the truck. Also turns out if you try to use the crane to right said truck when it's flailing around, the game might get angry, and that is a proper space launch. That is all the way. That's at, I think, about 2,000 kilometers an hour at one point. Certainly the 1,900 mark. That's, yeah, quite fast. Faster than truck's ever gone. Armed Tiny Timber on Just Cause 3 is borrowing. We'll go with borrowing a tank in all of this. Boops a Jeep into one of the vehicles they were trying to protect, that then boops that vehicle. That's another space truck. Not quite as far as the Farming Sim one, but still, that's a hell of a long way. And finally, Cleo Pleb on Nascar Racing 2003. Now, this is a battle going on amongst the AIs up at the front of the race, and naturally, like all good NASCAR crashes, it doesn't quite know when to end in all of this. The AIs that are kind of appearing towards this are just not quite slowing down in time. So this poor 17 car is getting pinballed around. It's got hit again. The next group of cars plough into it, launching that. A few more vehicles have been taken out in the chaos there. And another one gets smacked as well for good measure. Yeah, quite a nasty... a very nasty shot. There's still cars ploughing into it. I believe this is now on board with the player. So the crash actually happens way further up at the front. As there, so the crash is actually just about starting now. You can see from the smoke. Players trying to figure out where on earth do you go through all of this, and it's a foot down and hope for the best. I think tries to come up, doesn't realise there's a car on the outside. That turns them around, so that puts the one, and whichever vehicle that we're riding on board with here, around, just making the crash worse as vehicles skew around. There goes the massive punt. I mean, that was millimetres away from taking out the car we were on board with. That's a big shunt. That is a very big shunt indeed. That, though, will be it for this week's episode. If you have clips you'd like to submit to this series, you can via our forums. There'll be a link in the description of this video. The very top of the page is the FailRace clips and mission section, and there you can find all of the rules and how to submit them. However, that is going to be it from me. Thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, a goodbye.